Just like the Great Salt Lake, I'm salty AF, baby.
If life is a circus, then this dancing bear is in the center ring.
Hello! I'm Hunter Harden.
And I'm Papa the Bear. And welcome to the Real Housebears.
Woo! Whoop, 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 whoop. We're here looking for the podcast. We just want to make sure the podcast is okay. But we need to find the podcast now. Stat. If you can't tell how serious I am, I'm in SWAT gear.
I mean, I watch as much CSI as everybody, but this has never happened to me.
That is so serious.
For some reason, I forgot how to. I started to do the cop siren, and I was like, "Does that sound like a cop siren?" In my head, it sounded like a cop siren.
It eventually became a cop siren.
Okay.
At first, it was like a woohoo type situation.
Yeah.
I was like, but no,
Okay,
it clearly became a siren. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
If you couldn't tell by my voice, I turned into HSI.
You are. You and Whitney are CSI Salt Lake City, remember?
And I'm HSI, too.
You are
I have
HSI.
2 jobs.
Wow. You're like 8
I've got like 8 jobs now. I'm actually taking time off from my very serious CSI and HSI job right now just to do this podcast.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for gracing us with your time and your presence and what little effort you're going to give today.
Thank you for being a lifesaver. You can keep going. Like an American hero, kind of keep going. Like, you got more in there.
Hopefully you'll get there someday.
His head is big because he and Jenny hit it off so well this week.
Oh, yes. So...
Actually, we all did.
Yeah, she's really easy to get to know. But yeah, if you guys are like under a rock or something, you probably already heard that we had an interview with Jenny Nguyen. I think it's Nguyen.
Yes.
I'm so glad I just did that off the top of my head.
Yeah, you did good.
I was so nervous to say it in front of her because I just didn't want to butcher it, and I knew that I would
and I
butcher
meant to ask her about it beforehand, but I forgot to, so I just didn't.
Yeah. So it was actually our anniversary day.
Like literally, we recorded that interview the evening before our actual 1-year podcast anniversary.
Yeah, so you guys, we made it 1 year for our podcast. Happy 1 year anniversary.
And you know what? We've barely missed a week. We haven't missed an episode of any of the shows I'm pretty proud of us for making it this far.
I'm pretty proud of us too.
I mean, like, where do you think we go from here?
Yeah.
I'm going to pat myself on the back, and I'm going to pat you on the back as well.
You too. Yeah. And we've had 3 housewives on the show.
Yes, and we've met 4 of the housewives.
Yes.
I mean, we're
over half the cast.
checking them off.
Yeah,
one by one.
absolutely.
Once we've collected all of the Salt Lake City housewives, we'll have to go on to the next franchise.
Yeah, well, instead of like bringing it back to the Horcrux, Voldemort had 7 Horcruxes.
Yes.
But our 7 Horcruxes are the 7 ladies of Salt Lake City.
We're trying to get them, and the hardest ones is definitely going to be Mary because she's holder of Horcruxes for many.
Yes.
That's why I don't trust human beings.
And, I think Meredith might be the second hardest.
Best of luck to you. Be careful.
I think we can obtain Lisa.
I don't think you should.
Well, Jenny saw our bottle of Vita on our bar, so we can, at least she knows.
Maybe that's how we're going to wedge our way in
across.
and be like, Jenny, we need to get Lisa on our show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, Lisa, we have so much in common. My sister's name is Lisa.
I love that.
There you go. There it is. That's enough. You're like you're practically siblings yourself.
I don't know what it is, but I am dying to meet those two now. Lisa
Me
and
too.
Meredith.
Me too.
I mean,
absolutely.
Like even more so than the first season now.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like forbidden fruit. There's the
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
It's such forbidden fruit. Oh my goodness.
But y'all, let me say this. It's weird with all the high definition cameras we have, and TV we have now. I don't understand how the camera does not capture the beauty of these women. And I'm talking about all of the ones that we've met. Jenny, Heather, Whitney, Jen Shaw. The camera and the TV really does not show how breathtakingly beautiful these women are.
Yeah.
I mean, they look gorgeous on our TV, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't look gorgeous on TV.
But it's hard
when you
to
see
show-
them in person, it's like,
Because
holy cow, how are you so pretty?
You can't see the natural contours of their face that when you're in person than on a flat screen.
Yeah, it's.
But
really,
yeah, Jenny was gorgeous right away. So easy to talk to. She's
Yeah.
exactly like she is on the show.
She came over to our house, our own home.
Y'all, we have deep cleaned this house so hardcore.
Oh my gosh, we weren't nervous about the interview. We were anxious
Anxious to
all
meet her.
day long, and we cleaned this house as hard as we could. I felt like Molly Ringwald in Pretty in Pink. I'm like, I'm the poor girl in town having the rich kid coming over.
But it was funny though, because Jenny, like, we were telling her just like, please don't mind our messes and stuff and our quaint little condo.
There
and
wasn't
she's
a
like,
single mess anywhere.
And she's like, I lived in a refugee camp.
Yeah.
And I was like, true, okay.
Thank God.
We feel better now.
Yeah. She was so sweet, so down to earth. Really, I was surprised just how comfortable I felt around her right away.
Oh yeah, right away. She's so tiny.
Oh gosh, yeah. On the picture, she's
And gorgeous long black hair.
oh, she looks so beautiful.
She had that white little sweater on. Oh, and guess what? She was just coming back from a confessional taping.
Yeah. So her hair and makeup were done.
And her assistant, Colin, showed up.
Super sweetheart.
Super sweet kid. And I in the elevator, I was like, so what's up? Like, how is it working with Jenny? And he's like, busy. And I'm like, okay, that's reasonable. I'm like, I bet it is.
And then tomorrow we're going to go to Carlin's book signing.
Yes, Carlin, if you guys didn't hear, she has a book out, and she's actually coming out with another book. And there's going to be a book signing tomorrow at Discovery. I can't remember exactly what she said.
Oh, it's the Discovery Gateway, she
Discovery Gateway. So if y'all want to meet some super famous people, we're going to be there.
And so will Jenny and Carlin.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
I love that. So really, it was really wonderful to meet her. Also, we've been watching the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip.
I mean, right away, not even in the air, probably an hour, does Ramona... I can't even say. Ramona calls...
No, don't give
Should
everything
I-
away. But just Ramona causes a stir immediately.
Well, I mean, it goes on social media right away because there's a snitch on the ship.
true,
so to
true. But
She calls Kenya a bitch right away. And you know what? I thought I'd never say this my entire life, but what? We're only 3 episodes in or something.
we've only seen 2 so
Oh my
far.
gosh, it feels like a year. But thank God for Ramona,
Right?
because what conflict would there be on the show right now? Because all of the ladies are like each other. They're all
Yeah.
like finding each other's besties in the group and stuff. And Ramona is the only one single-handedly creating a stir and multiple enemies
Yes.
on this island already. She, in real life, she would be the first one eaten.
Right.
In any kind of survival scenario. She would be the first one. Not a lot of food to go around, but she would be eaten.
My husband. Calm down.
And I love how they like talk about being on the show and you know, like kind of breaking the fourth wall that way.
It's really, really interesting. I
It
like the
is.
dynamics between everybody because it's so many worlds clashing. You're
I
so
was
used
surprised.
to their own worlds.
Yeah, when I first saw the cast, I don't know that I completely bought into 100% of the cast as the ultimate girls trip, but it is. It really is. It feels bad though, like watching Cynthia Bailey, knowing this is going to be the end of Cynthia Bailey on my TV. Could potentially be the end of Ramona and Luann on my TV.
I don't know about after this trip with Ramona. Like, I don't know.
Well, after that last season of New York, who's
That's
to say?
true. And she's still wildly inappropriate.
And, you know, we'll get into this week, but I also have to talk about the Not All Diamonds and Rosé book by Dave Quinn.
Y'all, I have barely even seen my husband for the past week since we got him this book.
We
Or
got
since
it.
I
We got
him
it
this
Saturday.
book.
I got it last Saturday, and today is Friday.
Yeah. In the hotel room, on the airplane, waiting at the airport, waiting to get food, hanging out at home, waiting to go to bed. He's on it. He doesn't even know what's going on. My hair was on fire yesterday and I was running around the house and he was just like, that's right, honey, I'll take the trash out tomorrow.
That's not true. But I mean, I don't get much time to read it, but any free time I have, I'm like, oh my God, I can't. When I'm not reading it, I'm thinking about it. And I haven't felt that way in a while about a book.
But now that you're reading, I'm going to start picking up reading too, I think. I need to bust out my Kindle. I think I have it at, I think it's in Wisconsin.
I guess I'm going to have to just read other Housewives memoirs.
I mean, it's your niche.
That's what I have to do. I'm loving it.
I think you should. I think you should definitely read Teresa's cooking book.
Yes, I should. But if y'all don't know about It's All Diamonds and Rose, where have you been, first of all? But it's really fascinating because it's all behind the scenes stuff told by the people who were there, cast members, producers, and it's told in it's just brilliant. I love it so much. I can't take it.
Well, speaking about books, let's get into this. Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell. Vail.
Highway to Vail.
Highway to Vail.
Just unprofessional.
Did you like my horrible segue?
No, it didn't make sense at all.
I think
Speaking of books,
that's going to be my segue.
That's a song.
That's going to be from my segue now.
It's just to make random bad segues.
Oh, yeah. It's really easy.
I think it's a great idea. It's going to really add a lot of value to our podcast.
I think that's weird.
Well, moving on to our relationship, how great it is. That's a great segue. How's that?
It's better than Jen Shaw's relationship with the police right now. So this episode starts off at 9:33 a.m.
I know. Bum, bum. I love it so much. This whole episode just reminds me so much of that show 24.
Yes.
Because they keep giving you the timestamp. And it's just the day is so slow. It takes forever to get to 3 p.m.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, they spent 5 hours in the van.
Alone.
And what I've heard was that the reception was spotty.
Yeah, going through all of those mountains and small towns, reception goes in and out.
Yeah.
So needing to know to play on the phone, for one thing, because you're in a car with people that are all inside their own heads. Or finding out about this whole Jen Shaw thing. That's all they're waiting for.
But they have 5 hours of footage of them on the van, talking, crying,
5 hours
laughing.
of footage of Meredith in the tub alone.
Oh my God.
5 hours minimum. She was in that tub, at least.
Naked.
Oh my gosh. We'll get to that. Surprising. So it starts off with a little bit of what we saw last week. Of Jen Shaw getting a phone call and needing to go, the police arriving looking for Jen Shaw. The ladies start to realize that maybe Jen was tipped off and left. Maybe it wasn't a Charisse situation.
You guys, what if she's on the run?
But who tipped her off?
How would they even know? I mean, how would they know that? How would they even know?
I don't think it's that complicated of a question, to be honest with you. I mean, I know they talk about it throughout this whole episode.
Well, she said, hey, baby. And from what I know, who was at the house when the police showed up, which is what I'm suspecting they showed up there first looking for Jen, it was either her son or her nephew or cousin or something that was there. Called her, and that's why she answered the phone. Hey, baby. And they're probably on the other line hey, there's SWAT and people here and cops looking for you. You need to get home. And that's probably when Jen Shaw's oh, okay. And
or Sharif. I don't think Sharif.
Or Sharif. And it wasn't even a tip off. I think cops showed up at her house first, and then from there went off to find Jen. As soon as they heard that she was at Beauty Lab and Laser.
Yeah, I don't think it was all that complicated. I think there seems to be a lot of sketchy stuff about Lisa and Meredith and Jen, but we'll get to that. Lisa calls her husband, and she seems to maybe be crying. It's hard to tell when Lisa's crying.
Not. Yeah, she's not. She's just very emotional.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Lisa so much, because that's me. If something traumatic like that, cops and SWAT, that's scary. Even if I wasn't involved, if I called you, I probably might start crying.
Yeah, it's you're overwhelmed with emotion in general.
Yeah. Go Pisces.
And she's not, again, I don't feel like she's someone who's really comfortable with a lot of emotion. And so even though she feels like she might cry, she's going to fight it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling weird right now. I'm feeling so weird.
So she calls her 6 attorneys, was it?
6 attorneys. She's got six of them on payroll. Why?
All of my attorneys are calling me back right now. We have 6 on payroll, and every single one are calling back right now. Hey, you know what? This is so weird, Ryan. Can you tell me what's going on? Would Homeland Security show up for that? I mean, like, I'm like literally shook right now. It just scared me. Like, is something bigger happening? Should I be stressed? I'm shaking. I'm physically shaking.
Yeah. As Heather Gay said on Watch What Happens Live, if you have more than 2 attorneys, then you don't have good attorneys.
Yeah, you got bad attorneys.
Jenny thinks the ladies are completely overreacting and she needs a snack.
I love Jenny through this whole episode. She's so hilarious.
Jenny grabbing Jen Shaw's snacks and digging in without a word.
Nothing. She just grabbed it and started digging through it. I mean, Jen's obviously not coming back for it.
It's probably my favorite moment of the episode.
And she brought it there for everyone, probably.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully she didn't bring a whole bag of Cheetos just for herself.
I mean, honestly, if I was Jen Shaw and I got that call and I left, and I remember I left my food on the car, I would turn around and come back for it. But, you know, Jen Shaw.
No, I would text my friends and say, hey, y'all, finna eat those snacks.
You know, I'd text them back, stay away from my food. I'll be back.
And then Heather's like, wait till the body's cold. I mean, calm down.
I mean, let the body get cold first.
But that's exactly what went through my head, too. I'm like, dang, Jenny's not even going to wait till the body is even cold
Yes.
to start getting rid of the evidence. But you know what it reminded me of mostly is, like, do you remember in that show 60 Days In,
yes,
where it was like the contestants going into prison? Every time one of them got out, like, it was like piranhas in their room grabbing any food or anything left over that they had, like another bar of soap or whatever. That's what it reminded me of, like all the rest of the prison inmates going in for their...
Well,
Jen
Jenny
Shaw's
lived
gone.
in a Thai refugee camp. She knows what that's probably like.
She's probably grabbed lots of like snack bags while she was in that refugee
Yes,
camp.
absolutely. She's like, she ain't coming back. I'm going to pillage this grave.
Hell yeah. She's like, I need to live.
And then Heather's like, oh, there's lollipops. Never mind.
Never mind. It's fine. She dug into it first. It's okay.
Yeah. 10:12 a.m.
Dun dun. I'm going to need technicians. Can you please insert a bum bum every time we do that?
I'll look for a soundbite.
You're ruining the fourth wall.
Oh, sorry.
We have
Sorry.
technicians and we have producers doing all the work for us. This is all a fantasy, Bear.
Yeah, I wish. Meredith arrives at the Vail home wearing her winter white. Like, she is going brave with this white.
Well, it's red and white. It's very Christmassy. It's Santa hat.
Well, I saw it more as like a peachy color.
No, it was red.
Was it? To be honest with you, I thought the proportions were off.
The proportions were very off.
I didn't like the white boots with it.
I didn't like the big coat with it because the skirt was not short enough for the big coat, I think.
I just thought that it was all wrong, to be honest with you.
Well, she doesn't keep it on long, so don't worry.
That's true. And then in her confessional, she has her Ken doll chest plate on again.
I can't stand this look.
And I've seen other people talk about it too, online. And then at 10:57 a.m.
Bum, bum.
Heather is concerned that Jen hasn't texted her back. Lisa wonders, how would they know we were at Beauty Lab?
Only us and our families knew. And production, and everybody that works on production, and everybody that probably worked up in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that... I love how, like, many scenarios they're making on this show, like how many like paranoid delusions they have and making out of this because they're stuck in a van.
Yes, and I would say if I was stuck in a van and I saw Jen get carried away by the cop, or assumed Jen was going to get carried away by I would be speculating and terrified and freaking the F out.
I mean, Whitney later on, man, she digs into this. She
definitely knows her stuff.
CSI Whitney's on the case.
She is on the case. Lisa is also a bit curious. She's like, Jen didn't, she didn't seem all that much in a hurry if Sharif was in the hospital or if, she's being
or whether she was
followed
tipped
by the
off
law.
anyways.
But Jen was probably just in shock and was like, didn't want to be suspicious.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then Whitney decides to throw it out there, like, chum to the sharks, maybe someone tipped the feds off. Who could it have been in this van? Was it Meredith in the tub with the cell phone? Or was it Lisa in her fur coat underneath her hand with the cell phone?
I don't know. I like that Lisa puts on her sunglasses when she wants no one to hear her.
I didn't notice that.
Like, I am so confused.
Hold on, I'm getting on the phone.
Yes.
All right, go. We're private now.
And then she whispers underneath her breath to John while she's mic'd, I think Meredith might know something.
Yeah.
And
I'm wondering if Lisa's referring to what she probably already knew that Meredith did was get a
private investigator
later on that you find.
Likely. None of the ladies really understand what Jen does for her business except for Whitney.
I had no idea what she did.
Yeah, Whitney just breaks it down. She's like, Jen just sells leads to other people. Jen gets contact information and sells it to other people. And Whitney knows all of this because she's been curious about where all of Jen's money comes from.
How does she get her money?
It's very Megan King Edmonds of Whitney. Whitney and Megan King need to get together and have a detective show as well. She's the one on Orange County that investigated Brooke's cancer.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, do it.
Yeah, they need to get together and bust this case.
Wide open.
And then at 11:35 a.m.,
Bum bum.
they stop at a convenience store. Lisa gets off first, and Whitney stays back a little bit and says to Heather, Lisa's acting suspicious. She's guilty of something.
Yeah.
I think that Lisa knows something. I mean, at the very end of this episode, we find out that she kind of knows something.
She knows something about business, I think.
She knows something.
I wonder if Lisa got some of the leads to new Vita tequila drinkers from Jen Shaw, and maybe she's now like paranoid that she's going to be pickled into it.
Maybe Lisa has a bunch of elderly people who are subscribing to a monthly Vita Tequila subscription.
It's happened before. Somewhere.
You heard it here first.
Let's get our facts straight.
You hear lots of things here first. We're ahead of our time.
We are a news team.
We read headlines.
An investigative news team.
We read 2-sentence headlines, and we are fully infoed.
Or we speculate and speak as if it's the truth.
Like Mary's eating disorder.
Oh no, quit talking about it.
Oh, did I just say that?
There are at 12:05 p.m.
Bum bum, Price, Utah.
There are snacks all over the van.
I know. Oh my gosh, did you see all the boxes?
Yes,
Oh
the
my
whole
gosh.
bench seat is covered in boxes of candy and Cheetos. I want it.
Oh, more than trail mix. I'm happy.
Then Whitney sees something on her phone.
And she almost faints.
Yeah, I mean she can't. She loses her breath.
Yeah, she can't handle it.
So, Real Housewives charged in mass money laundering scheme.
Real Housewives star charged in massive fraud money laundering scheme. No, I have the f***ing chills.
No. Holy shit.
Send me the article. Send it. I can't. I'm like enough.
Send it to me.
Since 2012, y'all. Heather starts crying immediately.
And Lisa does too.
Then Lisa sees Heather crying, so Lisa starts crying and lets everybody know that she feels so bad, honestly.
Honestly, she does.
Honestly, she feels really bad right now. Honestly, she feels really bad right now.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Steve, I feel so bad. I honestly feel so bad for them. I feel so bad. Oh my God.
I'm going to remind you throughout this show.
But then after a minute or two, Ginny's like, no one shared the article with me yet. They're like, Ginny, what do you think? And she's like, I don't know. No one shared the article.
I'm just sitting here listening to you three just go
I
crazy.
don't know what's going on. So Jen has been arrested. And Ginny's like, so do you all know anything? And Whitney is again like, I've always wondered, but I just thought she had a sugar daddy.
I thought she had a sugar daddy or something. That's it. I mean, I had a sugar daddy.
Oh my God.
I know, Whitney.
But this comes back at the end of the episode.
Yes, it does. And we have some
not
insider
directly.
stuff about it.
Not directly, but indirectly.
Might
we
be
have
something.
Now we find out she could get up to 30 years in prison.
Poor Heather breaks down from this, hearing that.
And then Jenny's like, y'all need to calm down over one article, okay?
Yeah, all of this
Like-
is just coming out.
We know they didn't have much cell service, so they're like really probably dying to know what's going on. But Jenny's like, y'all, calm down.
So Lisa reminds me in this episode, she says literally her feelings. She literally says, I'm literally crying. I'm literally upset. I'm literally heartbroken. And I don't know if you remember the couple from Mad TV that were the literals.
Literally.
They're like, I literally cried rivers. Or like, I literally was shaking like a leaf.
Right.
Or I literally was so scared. I hosted a scare fest inside my house, inside my body. That was literally that scared.
Oh my God, that's scary.
Haunted house in my body, shaking like a leaf. Literally.
Literally. So Jen has allegedly taken advantage of vulnerable people. And according to Whitney, you can choose your demographic of the people that you want to reach and target, specific people. You get to them to sign up for services and then charge them monthly.
And everybody's like so inquisitive as to why Whitney knows so much about business and money laundering. And I'm like, well, there's so many shows about money laundering these days.
Well, I've learned from watching Ozark that there's a couple ways you can launder money.
Like any gangster movie you watch, it's got money laundering in it. And she's also studied business.
Yeah.
So don't you learn that stuff in business?
Certainly. And business is a passion of Whitney's above skincare,
Yeah. Wouldn't you know what not to do? You know?
Right.
Like, so you shouldn't you do not put your dollar bills in the washing machine. Period.
There you go. Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows that.
You don't wash your money.
You put them in the dishwasher. Stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Out of left field.
So the police, HSI, etc., show up to Shaw Chalet.
It's 1:20. Bum bum.
Oh, bum. The police, HSI, etc., show up to Shaw Chalet.
With AK-47s, like, cocked and ready. Like, that is terrifying.
I hated seeing kids having to leave that house with their heads over their head.
With their hands over their head. Yeah, and they got patted down, too.
I hated that.
That's terrifying, especially if your parents aren't home and that happens and they're looking for one of your parents. Like, that is horrifying. And you know what's even more horrifying is me in middle school or high school. If cops raided and searched my room, they would find so many things that my mom would be pissed about.
Imagine what they'd find now.
Who's buying a penis ring toss? And what kind of party is that? And can I get invited?
Oh my gosh.
That I know about. And then one of the producers is like, hey, I want to ask some questions. Like, well, if you want questions, you have to speak to Coach Shaw. So he is at least not in trouble as of now.
Yes.
And then at 2:36 p.m., Lisa calls Meredith at the Vail house, and Meredith has no idea what's going on.
She's completely unbothered.
100%.
She is 100% just excited for the weekend.
Yeah. It's weird how unaffected she is by this.
Honestly, I'm not surprised by this.
Well, her and Jen Shaw have not been seen eye to eye this season. Come to find out, she has had a private investigator against Jen Shaw because she had these things.
But wouldn't you be at least like,
hunches?
oh my gosh, what is this going to do for the future of our show? How does this affect me? I mean, she had no reaction whatsoever.
I don't know if I would. I don't think I would worry about that either because I see like Erica Jane's stuff on her.
Well, not
show.
at the time, not when they were filming necessarily.
That's true.
I think because I remember when this all happened, I reached out to Heather, and I was like, I'm sure you're probably worried about how this affects your show.
I don't think I would have worried about that too much. I would have been like, that's just going to bring more drama to the show, more eyes, or more, bad publicity is better than no publicity kind of scenario.
Maybe so, but I'm with Lisa. Lisa is shocked that Meredith is not shocked.
Literally.
But think about, with Meredith's reaction, think about how different the van ride might have been.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, yeah, if she was on the van.
With having both her and Jenny, because again, Jenny didn't even know Jen Shaw at this point.
Yeah, she really didn't know her. She's like, I can't say anything about this. And plus, this is all just now coming out.
So think about how different that van ride would have been if Meredith was on there. It could have been even explosive.
Because more stuff would come out. All of that stuff would have come out on the van ride.
I mean, from one of the best episodes in history, could you imagine even elevating that much if Meredith was on the van?
Ooh.
Well, before we get to Jen Shaw being released, why don't we relieve ourselves and refill our drinks outside the hot closet?
Which lady are we going to bring into the hot closet tonight?
I guess you'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we've have kept Jenny here since her podcast.
We haven't let Jenny out of the cage.
Maybe we should have let her so she could go home. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Do you guys think she's gonna show up?
This is Jenny from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You are listening to the Real Housebears podcast.
And we're back.
Hello? It's the feds. Too soon.
And Jen Shaw has been released at 3:16 p.m.
Dun dun.
Fur on Fleek is on the scene.
Yes, if you guys don't know who Fur on Fleek is, he is a mega Housewife fan.
If you follow Heather and Dre's podcast, Live, Love, Lab, he did the music therapy episode with them. Mm-hmm. He is a fun guy, and we got to watch the season 2 premiere with him.
Oh, if we had his phone number right now, we would have called him.
We totally should
have. Like, so what did you think about the Jen Shaw arrest?
But he was there, right there by the courthouse.
You could see him in the background filming.
That's so funny. I love it. Detective Whitney deciphers the money laundering as Jen's startups.
Mm-hmm, because you could write those off, yo.
Yeah, and maybe that's where Jen has been washing the money, so to speak.
And everyone's like, what is washing and laundering money? And Heather's like, everything I've learned is from watching Ozark.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do.
I think I learned all my money laundering from Breaking Bad, maybe.
I don't know anything about money laundering. I learned all mine from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, from Whitney Rose in particular.
Snap.
I think it's in the Bible. Money is the root of all evil. Is that in the Bible?
It's in the Bible.
Yeah, it is easier for a rich man or a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to go to heaven. Amen.
Relevant.
Right? And then at 4:13 p.m. Back in Vail, Mary arrives and no one answers the door.
She can't find Meredith. Did somebody get her too, she thinks?
There's a lot of assumptions being made here.
No, Meredith is just in the tub.
You kind of bought into it for a second. I liked that. No, she's just in the tub.
Here it is.
Yes.
Meredith is in Colorado. Mm-hmm. She got there before anybody else. She stopped at the dispensary because Colorado is a legal state.
It sure is.
She's probably had some gummies, maybe been smoking on the blunts, and she got in her tub and she ain't getting out.
She is basically going to film this whole episode in the tub, maybe even the next episode. Who knows?
More breaking news. Meredith is a drug user.
Let's get our facts straight.
You heard it here first, everybody.
So stupid.
Even though we're high on edibles, too, most of the time.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
So Meredith immediately is like, do you know, from the tub, do you know about this Jen Shaw situation?
And Mary is just more or less very upset of the etiquette or Eriquise or equestrian that somebody should be dressed and served snacks.
For me, proper etiquette to greet people, you need to be dressed with some food on the table.
when they're going to have somebody over
Well,
at their
that is
home.
true. That is. I wouldn't expect them to be in the bathtub for sure.
But y'all, if you heard on the Jenny podcast, Mary has said that she doesn't like thick accents. She did not like Jenny's thick accent because she needs to learn to talk. And Mary doesn't even know how to say etiquette.
Adequate.
Right?
Etiquette.
But when Meredith fills her in on the Beauty Lab extravaganza, she is she is as flabbergasted as her wig.
Are you back?
I'm
you back on wig patrol?
Yes, because also her makeup there was something crazy. Her makeup wasn't on par this episode either.
The tone of her skin was off.
Real blotchy. She looked real blotchy.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, but her reaction was really funny, actually, to me. After Meredith told her that, she was truly speechless.
She's blown away, but Meredith is quite relaxed. Those edibles have kicked in. Those bubbles are slowly dissipating.
Yeah, she's getting lower and lower in the tub.
They dissipate so much that the cameraman has to squat down and get eye level with her so that he doesn't get all of her goodies.
Right.
Because they're all out there. So they stood there and talked for a while. Mary, don't you know good etiquette? God, I can't say it now because I have it stuck in my head.
Adequate.
Don't you have good etiquette to not talk to somebody while they're in the bathroom?
I mean, Meredith invited her in.
Well, still, just because the devil tells you to come into his home doesn't mean you need to. Those types of things, Mary.
So silly. They wonder how long this investigation has been going on. They speculate it's been going on for quite a while, unless there was an insider who gave them information.
Today is a lot.
Dun dun. But you know what I've noticed is every time there's like a big issue with health or loss, for this instance, Mary has never once said that she would pray for somebody.
Let's pray.
Have you noticed that? She's never once said, I'm praying for them or I'm going to pray for them. Isn't that what like ministers and preachers, like that's the first thing they say to somebody to try to like calm them down, calm themselves down? But I mean, I guess she can't pray to anybody but herself because she is God.
Well, I like how Mary ponders, like, how can Jen sleep at night while frauding vulnerable people? And I'm like, how do you sleep at night?
The whole time I was like holding the mirror up to the TV and I'm like, look at it! Look at yourself! Like, there's a lot of like, oh, kettle.
And she does it again later.
She does it really bad later, like overcompensating bad, I think.
Maybe. And then at 4:56 p.m.,
I don't know.
Meredith has been in the bathtub for at least 45 minutes.
That's 60 minutes twice.
Yes, ma'am.
With the timestamps that we've been given, Meredith has been in the bathtub for at least 45 minutes.
Give or take maybe 10 minutes? No. Because she like turns the water back on and like gets more bubbles in there to stay there longer.
So Mary's going to go pick a room. The ladies are still in the van and they're talking about where Mary is. And Whitney fills Jenny in on the Italian streetwear luncheon.
Oh, God.
Jenny and Mary are clearly not okay because Jenny wasn't invited to the Italian streetwear luncheon. And Lisa's like, well, just remember, not everyone gets invited to everything.
I know. She just had to throw that
But
in
Heather
there.
got a laugh out of that.
She did. She caught that. She started laughing.
But this was different because only one person was left out of this. Like, Jenny was the only person left out of the luncheon.
Yeah, I know.
Whereas, only a few people were invited to the first one.
I love that picking out rooms is never an issue like, say, New York is.
Well, Ramona is always the one who feels like she gets first dibs of she deserves the best room, even in New York, as well as in the Ultimate Girls Trip.
And in her life.
Yeah, right.
Well, and also, Mary's jumping on the bed, and she's upset that the bed is like a brick. But doesn't she know good etiquette to not jump on beds?
Adequate.
God, I could just keep going.
And then it turns out that Meredith has been bathing in Heather Gay's tub all along. I know. What kind of craziness is this?
That's crazy.
But if there's going to be a tub in the house, I don't care whose room it is. If I'm going to fit in it, I know this goes with you too. If you're going to fit in it, you sits.
But maybe I would have chosen the room with the bathtub since I was first.
Maybe the other room is way better but doesn't have a bathtub.
I don't know. I would choose a bathtub that I could fit in over anything.
Meredith is high as a kite right now.
Heather and Whitney appropriately get rooms next to each other. Jenny and Lisa go downstairs together. And then at 6:11 p.m.
Dun dun.
Lisa is on the phone with John. Mary's on the phone with Robert Sr. Jenny is talking with Dewey.
And even Dewey says he thinks someone ratted her out.
Yeah. And Mary forgot that Jenny was going to be there. Mary is not interested in Jenny being on this show at all.
At all. She does not want to get to know her or anything.
Nuh-uh. I mean, to find out that Mary still to this day doesn't have Jenny's phone number, that's crazy to me. We have Jenny's phone number.
That's true. We do have Jenny's phone number.
They're castmates, they're coworkers. It's wild to me. They have Chef Jay making some beautiful food. This is like a real glow up from season 1.
Oh, yeah. Their vacation is way different.
This is season. I can't wait to see season 3 and season 4. I mean, they're really starting to step it up for the SLC
especially when
ladies.
we're going to be in it too. You know,
and they also right.
We're going to be the next friends of Housebears.
Yeah, since we never applied, that's how we get in.
We applied word of mouth.
Oh, through the podcast.
And our millions of fans probably
and the hashtag that we never came up with.
Yes.
Right, that's how we're getting on.
We are so good.
They all sit down to eat, and Meredith is like, okay, what do you all think? You know, they're finally together all for the first time to talk about this.
This is the moment I've been waiting for.
So at 8:41,
Bum, bum.
Whitney has heard that that Jen Shaw was arrested on the side of the road. Whitney thinks that like Jen Shaw was running and got arrested.
People think that she was fleeing.
I thought that she was just like driving home and they caught her
on the way.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I didn't assume that she was like being.
I mean, there's
like,
only
running.
so many highways that go there to that way, their house from Beauty Lab and Laser. There's one.
And then Mary goes on and on and on about how she feels betrayed by Jen. How she's not who she thought she was.
I can't believe she took I can't believe she took advantage of people that couldn't even afford their homes, maybe, or couldn't afford things. And this whole time she's talking, I'm like, girl, this is all going to be said about you soon, as soon as your court cases and stuff start coming up. Because you have supposedly, from what you hear in one of the excerpts or something, is like Cameron, the earlier guy from Cameron or whatever.
That Mary sent Jesus after?
Yeah, he gave her like $30,000 or something.
I think we're going to find out a whole lot in the next episode or two. Because remember when he's got the gloves off?
Gloves are off then, Mary.
Oh, yes.
And Jenny kind of hinted in our interview the other night that she didn't know anything about Mary until Whitney talked about it in Vail, which hadn't been aired yet.
So that's coming out. You guys heard that first from here. The Real Housebears is on top, yo.
That's right.
What?
And then Meredith tells everyone how a new beep.
This is thief bleep. Bleep the thief.
So we now know from social media that the thief was Murillo.
Yes.
And we now know that Murillo was the one that used to work for Heather.
Mm-hmm. And she told her that he actually was taking tips under the counter from people and not saying anything. So he was terminated.
We actually knew about that at a time. And then worked for Jen. And on the socials this week, he and Jen have adamantly denied it.
She says that if it was the manager there put it in one of the bags when they left, it was her fault, not theirs. But I watched the tape, and he's holding it in his hand.
But is it green?
Yes.
Is what he's holding in his hand green?
Yeah, it's definitely a jade.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
Because they're saying that it was white.
I saw green, and I saw white next to it.
All right. I don't know. But you know what is not true?
What?
You can't be flagged at Louis Vuitton for paying in cash.
Being red flagged at Louis Vuitton would be far worse than the feds knocking on my door.
That was crazy to hear. But it just can't be true because so many women pay with cash.
If whatever I've been seeing on social media is factual, there seems to be some evidence floating around that it's not true.
Yeah, because I think you'd only get flagged if you're buying like $1 million home and you pay with cash.
I mean, yeah, if you're coming in and buying accessories, clothes for that matter. I'm sure they're used to rich people paying in cash.
I didn't know it was illegal. I just thought it was like unsavory.
Teresa paid for all of her furniture in cash season 1 of New Jersey.
Yeah.
But then again.
Oh, that's true. Ooh, not a good example. I forgot that they said that that clutch was snake skin. Ooh.
You want one?
I'm a sneaky snake.
I'm
a sneaky snake.
So they were talking about the last time they all saw Jen Shaw was Heather saw her, which we know was the night of the sex toys.
The sex toys. How do you know that?
Because we were there.
Oh my gosh, y'all. We were there. We were there that night.
So we were the last ones to see her along with Heather.
That's true. We were.
Yeah, Heather got... So,
the story is, you guys, she came over, Heather and Dre surprised me on my birthday with Jen Shaw, and then we ended up driving Jen to Heather's.
We've told this story 1,000 times.
Having a blast together.
We've told this story 1,000 times.
And let me get in deeper to the story.
Oh
they probably don't know that it was a blast. And
I'm
we had
sure they
so
know by
much
now.
fun. But anyways, that night, Heather got Jen an Uber with her account back up to Park City.
Yes.
And
Jen had a few drinks.
We got her into the Uber. We checked out the Uber driver. I didn't think he looked like a creepy weirdo. Looked like he might have been family.
Maybe.
And then off she goes. But then it comes out.
In this episode,
Heather says that she saw on her phone that Jen Shaw at an intersection got out of the Uber and disappeared into the wild miss of Utah. And Lisa is very inquisitive about... I've used that twice this episode. Inquisitive about this. And she's like, well, what time was this? Where's the time stamp? I need to know what time this is all going down.
So I can call somebody and see if Jen went to see them.
Mm-hmm. Like collaborate someone else's story, maybe. Collaborate, something. Corroborate. Cooperate.
Right. So that was quite a way to end the episode. Now finding out that possibly Lisa, who has been her BFF for the past several months, might know more to the sugar daddy story, possibly.
That there really might be another guy.
Could have been Stuart. Could have been maybe Sharif got a hold of her. Could have been a lot of different things.
Stuart!
But, you know, even though we're really super late coming out on this episode, we just did not think that we could pass by this incredible episode without giving it its own podcast episode.
Yeah, we needed to dive in deep on this one.
Yeah, so I know that we have a new Salt Lake City episode coming up in just a day or so once this comes out. But, again, we just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for listening, especially to very special listeners.
Yes, y'all. You ready to hear some fame?
I was very touched by these reviews.
Naples Tom.
Hey, Naples Tom.
He wrote, these guys are amazing, and he wrote an awesome little review.
We think you're amazing.
Yeah, I think you're famous.
I love this.
And then we have Fun Shell. Epic Housewives breakdown. And guess what? She's from Reno.
I love it.
Yeah, your hometown.
My hometown. What? Michelle, run. Get out of Reno now while you still can. Just kidding.
And run to your phone and follow us on our socials.
Yeah, I guess I don't need to threaten anybody right now.
No, we got 2 new reviews and ratings that were wonderful.
Adding to the list of famous people that have been on our podcast.
So follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We are The Real Housebears. On Twitter, we are Real Housebears. And you can email us at therealhousebears@gmail.com.
And you could find us on YouTube. And you can also find us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you pretty please, will you just leave a little 5-star rating and maybe a tiny little review?
See how sweet he is when you guys do that?
See, I'm going to see if I, attract more fans with honey than vinegar.
Maybe you can.
Well, we'll see, because if not, I'm going to go into serious threatening, like threatening letters to people's homes.
Oh my God, no, you're
That's
not.
next.
No, you're
Cut
not.
out letters out of magazines.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, let's just end this
With
episode.
cryptic,
Stop them.
horrifying.
Thank you all so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay. I don't know why that was so funny to me. Okay. I have the giggles. Okay. Stop. Okay, hold on. Don't make me laugh. Okay, ready? Hold on.